Welcome back to CardinDeities.org. Today we're going to be starting a brand new series on St. Thomas Aquinas' 5 ways for proving the existence of God. Now, St. Thomas Aquinas was a famous Christian theologian and apologist and scholastic philosopher who attempted to prove God's existence through a series of arguments. Now, these arguments are a little outdated, and they've been somewhat updated in some of the newer versions that we've looked at, such as the cosmological argument, the ontological argument, and so on. But what we want to look at in this series is not kind of the updated, most modernized version of those arguments. We rather want to look at the original arguments that St. Thomas Aquinas offered and how they have stood the test of time, and do they still stand up? There are many people who use Aquinas' arguments to justify a belief in God. Not an updated version, but Aquinas' original arguments. Are those arguments still valid based on the information that we have today? I don't know. That's what we're going to check out. So, in his work, Summa Theologica, St. Thomas Aquinas outlined 5 proofs of the existence of God. Based on his writings and what these proofs seem to show, the case is frequently made that Aquinas was simply arguing for the existence of a God with these arguments, not specifically the Christian God. Further, later arguments could be used to demonstrate this God's properties, and that he was in fact the God that was worshipped by Christians. But Aquinas' goal with this argument, or these arguments alone, is just to prove that a God, any God, some God, exists. Aquinas claimed that God's existence could be proved using Aristotle's posterior analytics. Basically, according to Aquinas, we could conclude the existence of a God from facts about the world. The language and concepts are somewhat outdated, and many of the arguments have been expanded upon since they were originally offered. But they are still often cited by theists as arguments which support the existence of God. So if someone wants to say all of the arguments for the existence of God are wrong, they don't only have to show that the modern up-to-date versions of the cosmological argument are incorrect or problematic. They need to go all the way back to Aquinas. In this series, we're going to look at each of these 5 ways in its own video, and then thoroughly debunk every single one in a following video. So we'll first look at St. Thomas Aquinas' first way. This is the way of the unmoved mover. This is often a very confusing argument, and we'll take a look at some of the terms that he's using, where he draws from Aristotle to get those terms, and some of those pieces that go into this. This, like all but one of Aquinas' arguments, is going to be a version of a cosmological argument. It's based on facts about the world, which is what Aquinas' project was. He wasn't trying to give kind of an ontological argument where just by sitting and reasoning alone you could come up with the existence of God. He's trying to explain God in terms of the facts of the world. And then following that, of course, we'll have objections to St. Thomas Aquinas' first way, the unmoved mover. After that, we'll take a look at St. Thomas Aquinas' second way. This is the first cause. This, as well as the next argument, have some connection to what we modernly consider the cosmological argument, and I did a video a ways in the past about the cosmological argument according to St. Thomas Aquinas. We're going to go very much in depth into his original argument and objections to it, not kind of the modern or more up-to-date version of this argument. And then we'll do objections to St. Thomas Aquinas' way, second way, first cause. Then we'll take a look at St. Thomas Aquinas' third way for proving the existence of God, based around necessity and contingency. And, of course, objections to St. Thomas Aquinas' third way, necessity and contingency. Then we will look at St. Thomas Aquinas' fourth way, the way of degree. This is a particularly interesting argument that I don't think we've tackled specifically in this way on the channel before. Maybe in some other offshoots or versions of the cosmological argument we've touched on it, or even the ontological argument we've touched on it, but I think this is an important one that we really need to pin down what's going on here, and then of course in the next video why it's wrong or what the problems are with that video or why we might want to object to it. And finally, we'll look at St. Thomas Aquinas' fifth way, teleology. This is the way that is based more in kind of a teleological argument for the existence of God than a cosmological argument for the existence of God. We haven't really gotten into teleological arguments at all here on the channel, and this is kind of maybe a stepping stone moving from some of the cosmological and ontological arguments we've done in the past to move towards another series, hopefully in the future, which we'll do on teleological arguments, and of course with that one we'll have objections to it afterwards. So that's St. Thomas Aquinas' 5 ways. Stay tuned for all 10 of those videos coming up here. Watch this video and more here at cardinalities.org, and stay skeptical, everybody.